While on the hunt for some new exoplanets, scientists have come across what is perhaps one of the strangest planets out there. Located around 434 light-years from Earth, J1407b seems to be giving our ringed neighbor Saturn some serious competition with its abundant rings, and 10 to 40 times the mass of Jupiter. What led to the discovery of this magnificent planet, and how could it help astronomers better understand the mysteries of the universe? Keep watching till the end to find out. Mankind's constant search for life beyond planet Earth has opened up so many possibilities and discovery of new worlds that a couple of centuries ago, no one would have ever deemed such a thing even remotely possible. Remember the days when schools would only teach about 9 planets in the solar system? Back then, they were the only verified and widely known planets. But today, astronomers and researchers have their eyes on something even more exciting and foreign: exoplanets. Exoplanets simply put our planets located outside of our solar system. All the planets in our solar system orbit around the Sun, while the planets orbiting around other stars are classified as exoplanets. The first ever evidence of exoplanets was seen way back in 1917, but back then they weren't recognized as such, and neither did we have the technology needed to confirm them. Then came the first ever planet discovered and confirmed orbiting around a Sun-like star, 51 Pegasi b. Technically speaking, Gamma Cephus AB was detected first in 1998. However, it was only confirmed as being an exoplanet much later in 2003. Ever since then, the hunt for these exoplanets and rogue planets, which are planets that have been pushed out of their solar systems, has not stopped. The more we learn about these planets, the more insight we get into the evolution of planetary systems, galaxies, and even our whole universe. And observing other systems of varying ages is extremely beneficial for us to better understand how our own system developed and evolved. Today, we now know of over 4,000 exoplanets, and these are just the number that have actually been confirmed. There's actually a longer list of exoplanet possibilities that have been detected, but are still waiting to be officially confirmed or denied. In fact, it's been speculated that there are over 40 billion exoplanets presently in the Milky Way galaxy alone, with a whopping 11 billion of them orbiting stars similar to our Sun. This certainly makes us wonder just how much is really out there, and how much more we're soon to discover. As exoplanets have become a hot topic in the world of astronomy, with scientists, researchers, and astronomers from around the world using the best of the best technology to try and spot new worlds, they've certainly come across some truly unimaginable planets. Let's start with HD 1897 3b. That's located only 64 light-years away from Earth. Although its deep blue marble-esque appearance might look serene and beautiful, it's a true nightmare world. With furious winds blowing at 8,700 kilometers per hour, you'd be cut into shreds by the planet's glass rain. The delightful blue color is only a reflection of the silicate as it gets heated up by the 1,300 degrees Celsius surface temperature to form the glass rain. HR 5183b, on the other hand, is known as the planet with the craziest orbit. At 3 times the size of Jupiter, it takes its own sweet time to orbit around its main star, 74 years to be precise, in a bizarre pattern where it loiters on the edge of its orbit and then slingshots back to the center, or take Kelt 9b as an example, where a year lasts less than a day and a half, which sounds far more interesting than 74 years, but there's a catch. The surface is so scorching hot that it sizzles at 4,300 degrees Celsius with atomic iron and titanium just casually floating around in its atmosphere. Then again, there's Tres 2b, which could easily give anyone the chills. It's orbiting star nearly 750 light-years away from us in the constellation Draco. It's the darkest exoplanet ever discovered, suspended in space like a black lump of coal. Scientists were shocked to come across the planet with the help of the Kepler Space Telescope, as it only reflects 1% of any light that hits it. Speaking of spooky, there's always TOI 849b, which was discovered pretty recently in 2020 by NASA. It's stripped completely bare. Yes, the exoplanet orbits so tightly around its star that it's had its atmosphere blasted away. What's left of it is just an exposed remnant core. Now scientists have stumbled upon yet another bizarre world that they just can't seem to explain. For years, Saturn's been hailed as the ringed world, and no doubt there are other planets with some very peculiar and special features that make for an interesting study, but astronomers are saying they've now found the first ringed planet beyond our solar system, and it's like Saturn on steroids. If you thought the rings around Saturn were huge, then you're in for a treat. J1407b This giant of a planet has a disk of a whopping 30 rings. This superworld is surrounded by a series of halos that are estimated to be 200 times bigger than the ones we see around Saturn. If the exoplanet were close to the Earth or around Saturn's orbit, the stunning view would dominate our night sky. While imagining how amazing that would be, Matthew Kinwary of the Leiden Observatory in the Netherlands said it would be huge. You'd see the rings and the gaps in those rings quite easily from the Earth. They would be several times the size of the full moon. Worlds beyond our solar system are observed from Earth through the changes in the brightness of their central star, as opposed to directly spotting the planet itself. It's this light that's partially blocked for some time when the planet passes between Earth and its main star. In the case of J1407, astronomers who were observing it realized it had a strange active light display that lasted almost 2 whole months. Data on the star show that after some time in the middle of the year, the light curve would go absolutely crazy and suddenly begin to flicker and twinkle. The team studying it concluded that there had to be something blocking and obscuring the light in this manner. They needed a different way of thinking, a different approach entirely, before finally realizing that it could actually be a ringed planet. The data collected shows that the rings begin at a distance of about 30 million kilometers from the planet and stretch out to a quite sizable distance of 90 million kilometers. As to what these rings are exactly made of, that would most probably be dust, considering the fact that the planet is far too hot, somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 degrees Celsius, and wouldn't have the necessary conditions to support ice rings like those that surround Saturn. Scientists have said that the planet itself is like a giant version of Saturn, or a super Saturn as they're calling it, with its mass nearly 10 to 40 times that of Jupiter. The main star around which the planet revolves is just about 16 million years old, which makes it like a newborn infant in terms of stellar age, considering the fact that our Sun and planet Earth are almost 4.4 billion years old. It's been a challenge for the scientists and astronomers to study the planet's exact mass and measure it, and they've even discovered gaps within the rings which may indicate that exo-moon satellites may have formed there as well. Astronomers and research teams have been observing the planet for a while, even as far back as 2005, and multiple studies have been conducted ever since. Astronomers expect that these rings will become thinner and thinner within the next several million years and will eventually disappear as satellites form from the material of the disks. As of now, all eyes are fixed on this exciting new exoplanet that could prove to be the key in allowing scientists to study the physical and chemical properties of satellite birthing disks like this. Finding eclipses from objects like J1407b would be perhaps the only feasible way to study the ring system, and in fact, researchers involved in the study have even encouraged amateur astronomers to help monitor this super-ringed planet. So, if you're an aspiring astronomer, it's time to do some exoplanet hunting. It's no wonder that J1407b is being referred to as space's very own Lord of the Rings.